Thank you for those making those garlands. It's not easy because I used to make those garlands for the deities like daily and find your own flowers. Even more tough. And you take hours and hours to make these garlands. I think you learn to appreciate every devotees. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare. Maharaji plays the best kartal. This is the only one can follow my kirtan. Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nite Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvesesa Sunyavare Pasacharya Sotarine Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare Jaya Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachare Yamuna Tira Banachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Nam Sankirtan ke Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Take out this entanglement. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We'd like to thank you this morning for this Saturday morning address of this beautiful session we're going to have this morning on Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Diary. I think those who are new, you know, I think the plus minus, I think about 5 volumes and another plus minus about, I think, 32 chapters of this. So we're doing volume 4 this morning and chapter 3, entitled Transcendental Diary, volume 4, chapter 3, Hyderabad. Probably we didn't speak about so much about Hyderabad, but lot of nectar in Hyderabad. There are a lot of beautiful pastime, leelas, and Hyderabad itself is a massive place, and where the temple. Actually, Hyderabad is one of the major cities in India, where all the IT, or the big IT people, I used to call the nickname for that Cyberbad, because there was a big IT place, Hyderabad. So, next stop, Hyderabad, Raskili. So we just came from India, so probably we have to. This place we have to visit, and especially where we're going to hear so much of beautiful activities happened in Hyderabad with Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Gyanatimirandasa Gyananjalanashalakya Chakshuramitam Yena Chasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Krishnai Kachetan Modabon Havinashakarim Madhuskara Prabhupada Sami Dosari Viti Sanchintayami Viti Sanchintayami Charano Sababhakti Hetu. Transcendental Diary, Volume 4, Chapter 3, Hyderabad. August 23rd, 1976. Today, the first time since we have been back in India, Prabhupada went for a long morning walk. However, I didn't accompany him. I walk with a sore throat, and my whole body was full of aches and pains. I asked Harikesh Maharaj to take care of the tape recording. He asked, why? What's wrong? I'm just feeling a little weak. I said, I will be all right if I just rest a little this morning. Oh, you are finished, he declared with sympathetic foreboding. I insisted, no, I will be all right. With a shake of his head and a knowing grin gained from his years of service in India, Harikesh Maharaj grabbed the tape recorder and hurried out. He went out of the door to join Srila Prabhupada. Mahamsa Swami took Srila Prabhupada out to the public garden, a popular place for many Hyderabad residents, to take their early morning walk, accompanied by a small group of devotees, Vasu Ghosh, Mutunga, Murtidas, young teenage son, and some friends of the temple. Prabhupada took an easy stroll around the pleasant gardens, admiring the bottle palms, several varieties of mango trees, ornamental trees, and lampposts, and the cleanly swept walkways. Mahamsa spotted a government poster propagating family planning. Lesser the happier, the poster says. Prabhupada at least agreed with the message. And he said, this is a fact. Tripyanti neha kripana. That is the verdict of Bhagavad Gita. One or two child, they are not satisfied. They want to produce more and invite distress, more bahu dukha bhaja. But they are practicing in a different way. And Bhagavad Gita recommends brahmachari instead of begetting more and more children. By sex life it is better. Better means dhira and tolerate the itching sensation. This is recommended. And the itching sensation is so strong, nobody can stop, unquote. Prabhupada can be heavy. Like I said, this diary is supposed to be devotees, temple devotees. And then, we understand. As Prabhupada made a statement, it's a morning walk. There must be some people around, and you will see there were some people around walking with Srila Prabhupada and listening incognito somehow what Prabhupada was saying. Unless one diverts one's attention to Krishna consciousness, he said, such control was not possible. He recalled New York power blackout in the 60s. Quote, so many women became pregnant because he has no business in the darkness. But if he was trained up to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, one could utilize the time for chanting Hare Krishna. But they have not such training. Nobody has such training. So how they will utilize the time? Harikesh Maharaj raised a theory of natural balance in which species kill each other, thus never reaching a level of overpopulation. But he said that since there is no other animal to keep the human population in check, people have to do it themselves. Referring to war, right? War is happening right now. So we have to kill some of the children so that it does not become out of control like the animals do it, unquote. Srila Prabhupada had a ready reply. You are less than animal. You are a greatest animal. You want to kill your children. You know what that's referring to? Abortion. So we can just for 2 minutes, what Prabhupada made some nice points here about training. One because of not trained properly. So people are not trained properly. They have no other business but to indulge in sex life, and then accidentally children are born, and then if they don't want the child, you want to abort the child. And then one time I was doing Sankirtan, and this person stopped me, and then he told me, or explain about the saffron and whites, what that mean, why some wearing white, some wearing saffron. I spoke about brahmachari and sannyasi and vanaprastha and bhaktas, new devotees. Then he said, but it's not humanly possible for those young boys to be, full of youth and not indulging in sex life. So there's something you people are not telling, you're hiding or somebody. It's not possible. If it's not humanly possible, for them humanly possible, it's not humanly possible to be, dealing with opposite sex. It's so difficult to control. Then I say it's proper training, you'll do it. If you do proper training knowledge, because everything is linked on the same line, Your mind controlled by intelligence and control your other parts of genitals, other parts of the body. If you are really very properly educated, then you have a control. And then, and Srila Prabhupada, okay, fine, okay, it's not in here, but Prabhupada didn't like of boys mixing, boys and girls mixing. Prabhupada said, if you want to have sex life, you mix with women and men mixing. So men mix with women, women mix with men. So Prabhupada said, better get married. And then better get married, and things came up after that. You want to have a child, you chant 50 rounds each. Get purified. And some other time I did mention, by the time you chant 50 rounds, you decided not to have sex life. Because I said, what's the purpose, what's the sense? So you become purified. So the point Prabhupada made is the proper training. A good brahmachari become a good grihastha. A rascal become a rascal. So in proper training, it helps. You will be a grihastha, but you be a grihastha brahmachari in control, full intact. Everything. And when you read and preach, it makes you even more strict. That you practice what you're preaching, and in this way, and because that's the thing. That mixing with boys and girls, it's the purity is gone. So when the purity is gone, so you only expect chaos. So purity is a force we preach every time, that how we lose this purity when we become contaminated, we become dirty. When mind contaminated and all these things. And everything is centered around the sex life. So you have to do so many. People are doing it, not everybody, but I've just, people are, after, gaining popularity, have a lot of money, fancy cars to attract the opposite sex or whatever. I'm not picking on certain people, but it's like that. It's simple living. I think it's Hyderabad. Prabhupada will talk about simple living, high thinking, and how one should lead their life. In other places, in other temple, in the conversation you will see. It wasn't long before a man approached, quote, "Today it's a matter of greatest coincidence," unquote. The passerby said, "I got up early in the morning to go for a walk. I thought that the Hare Rama, Hare Krishna." People say Hare Rama. The Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Then I met you today. Of course, myself and my wife are life members. We come sometimes, but morning chanting for me, rather, it didn't happen. Today it happened, and I met you. And I met you today, end quote. Prabhupada welcomed him into the group. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Then another gentleman approached, also a life member. The first man introduced him. The first one introduced the other one. This is Mr. Ramarao, advocate. I am also advocate. Mr. Ramarao beamed with satisfaction at the fortunate meeting. Extremely happy, coach. Extremely happy to have your darshan today. Prabhupada was happy to have such a learned man to discuss with. He elaborated, so birth control means the father and mother should not become father and mother unless they take full responsibility for the children to save them from the repetition of birth and death. This is the Sastric, unquote. Srila Prabhupada was happy to have such learned men to discuss with. Okay, we did that. Describing the modern population as a deluxe edition of animal life, because they only know how to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. Srila Prabhupada appealed to the men to take, MEN, to all the men to take their membership seriously. Quote, they do not know what is the aim of life. So as you are life member, you should study our, and then he said, this philosophy. Ahara nidra bhaya matun samanam itat pushubir naranam. Prabhupada just covered that. Eating, mating, defending, sleeping, and all this animal animals are doing. They're doing it better than the human. So you can give birth to one, and if you give birth to 7 at a time, 10. So the animals, they give birth to like 15, 20, and a whole lot of babies at a time. So Srila Prabhupada, this is describing in the modern population as a deluxe edition. So we are always very proud of being human being, more intellectuals, do it in style. We do have in, our sex life in mansion and more so-called upgraded fashion. But end of the day, it's sex life is the same, the animal having the same, human being having the same. The only difference, if the human being, yes, Prabhupada addressed the life members here, so lesson learned that Prabhupada said that we take our life membership seriously, that we intend, the whole idea was to make life members is to make them, eventually make them devotees. Yeah. I remember when I did Pujari for some time, 20 years or so. So after Rajbhog, I will take a walk and sign BDG subscription down there and make them BDG subscriber. So this way, they read eventually the intention to make them devotees. And then when I was in the temple as a brahmachari, I would, after my service, I would let everybody go outside Sankirtan. I would say I would cover everything, the deity, the kitchen, I cover all the service. And then I wanted everybody to go out and do Sankirtan. And my part of Sankirtan preaching was after 5 o'clock. When they are back, I take my bike and I ride my bike and I go. I know by 5 o'clock everybody's at home. You back from work, husband, everybody's at home, and I go and visit them and sign them for life members. And make them sign life membership. So, and at one point, there's a director general there's SABC here, there's Mauritius, there's MBC, Mauritius Broadcasting. So the director of the MBC invited me. I made him a life member. So he invited me to stay at his home just for one night to purify his place. So I was kind of happy because that's the whole intention is, that the intention is to make life members, BDC subscribers, all this. Eventually we wanted to become devotees. Devotees and gets more benefit out of to be connected with ISKCON society, to make them eventually devotees. And I set up an altar in his place. And I set up an altar in his place. And I have to tell you, I have to share this experience with this life member. Prabhupada speaking of a life member here. And I set up an altar. And then I didn't want to sleep anywhere else. Because nice bedroom, beds. And I was a brahmachari. I said, no, I'll sleep on the floor. So anyway, I always be fanatic as a son. Sometimes we think we become more austere, we make more advancement. Sometimes it was very immature. Sometimes, and very funny. Sometimes I used to take cold shower. I said, more austerity, more advancement. So a little bit. So that night I said, no, I will sleep on the floor. I told the life member, I'll sleep on the floor. Then he said, no, you can't sleep on the floor. So he brought mats. And just mats, and they put mats for me on the floor, and I slept on the floor. And I slept on the altar that set up there. And then later on, I was not there when I left Mauritius. Then I came to South Africa. I heard somebody was so envious of him to being the director, the director of the TV channel, Mauritius Broadcasting, that they threw a bomb. They threw a bomb in his house through the window. They threw, and the whole house was damaged. The whole house, the rooms, everything was shattered. Everything was shattered there, except the altar. Hare Krishna. So, except the altar. Imagine the altar frame, everything was intact. It was not damaged. That's my own experience about it. And he was a life member. And then he eventually became a devotee. He was a president of the group of Sai Baba. And he actually gave up everything. He had big frame on an altar. He had this, they have this asan, and they put big frame of Sai Baba on it. He told me, Saksi Prabhu, Gopal Prabhu, what I'm going to do with this frame, big frame that I made, enlargement of Sai Baba. I said, just put them away, put them away. He said, no, I think I'll give it to somebody. I'll give them to somebody. So he removed everything and gave them out and then give them away. So, and he became a devotee. Hare Krishna. Mahamsa assured him that the life members were being given his books. Prabhupada said, preach this and save this human society. That is the duty. Human life is meant for paro upakar. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. The greatest service to humanity, the paropakar, the highest service to humanity is, there's so many humanitarian groups doing so many things, but they fail to understand that best is to make them devotees, to understand that the real duty, Jivara Sarupahai, Krishnara, Nitya Das, we are all servant of the Lord, and we have to revive that consciousness in them, and then make them see that their duty is to serve and to become servant of the Lord and practice Krishna consciousness. One of the men observed that the cycle of birth and death had been going on for millions of years, and it seemed likely to continue. No, you can stop it, Srila Prabhupada said. Quote, Srila Prabhupada told him, you are missing the chance because you are not serious about the end of life. You are not disgusted with this repetition of birth and death. That is foolishness. Just like a thief, a criminal, he is constantly put into the jail, but he is not disgusted. He is committing again and again and again a crime. Puna punwas charvita charvanam. This is going on. This is foolishness. He does not make any provision how to stop it. That is for want of knowledge. Unquote. The man suggested that the historical lack of interest in developing material amenities was a problem for India. Prabhupada answered dramatically, what is the meaning of these amenities? After all, you are going to die. They don't make all facilities for material comfort. You're all going to die. Your all amenities will remain in the background. That is all. Death will come and will take everything. Mrityu sarvaharacham. Everything, mrityu come, death come, everything is gone. All your education, your possession, your family, reputation, everything is finished. Srila Prabhupada used the words finished. And he will make you a dog. Now you bark. How can you stop it? Prakriti kriyamani guna karmani savarpa ahankar vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. You know that verse? About the false ego. You have practiced how to bark in the legislative assembly. Now you go and become a dog and go on barking. Yo, 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 yo. Srila Prabhupada is good. Bhagavad Gita proposed that first of all, try to understand what is your misery of life. Do you know what is the misery of life? Prabhupada asked. Do you know? The members replied, was thoughtful. Misery of life is to be like this only, to live like this without the divine knowledge or without. Quote, he was going to say, Prabhupada stopped him and said, yes. Prabhupada said, real misery of life that you are soul, eternal, na jayatem riyateva. Na jayatem riyate vakatijin. And you know that verse? That you don't die, you're eternal. Mama Mibam Sajuvalko Jiva Bhuta Sanatan. Your eternal fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no birth, there is no death. So therefore, the birth and death is real misery. This is knowledge. But they have no brain. It is clearly said that na jayate na mriyate va. They have no knowledge what is actual misery, and therefore Krishna pointing out janma mritu jara vyadi dukkha dosanu darshanam. This is knowledge. We mentioned that. Yeah? The birth, disease, old age, and death. We want to cure all the disease, Prabhupada said. After curing all the disease, the real disease is this, this birth disease, old age and death. The real disease is having this body and then not becoming Krishna consciousness is the real disease. Prabhupada by now had attracted a small audience, and he was becoming increasingly enlivened. When Harikesh Maharaj told him the car was available if he wanted to return, Prabhupada opted to continue preaching. Quote, so come on, let us talk. Walking on, he kept the focus on the topic of solving the real problems of life, saying that no one was serious about understanding that he is not the body but the soul. He used the example of a person who is given notice to quit the apartment, but makes no provision for where they will go to next. They are struggling for existence, but who will allow you to exist? That the small brain cannot think, but they foolishly say, struggle for existence, survival of the fittest. Who is fit? He does not know. Prabhupada then answered this, saying, fitness means who does not get next to who does not get next a material body. He is fit. Real fitness. What's a real fitness? Let's see, will anyone capture that? Prabhupada said. If you're looking for, this top polished English, forget about it. Prabhupada got his own the way of saying things. And yeah, fitness means who does not get next a material body. He is fit. Yeah, that's. So Prabhupada covers, it makes other few points. It says somebody renting a house, and then he's being kicked out by the landlord, but he knows that he'll be kicked out. He's getting kicked out, get a notice of eviction, and that the person didn't make any other alternate arrangement where he's going to go after this. That's Prabhupada, that foolishness, right? Because when we came in this material world, it's temporarily. Even asasvatam, dukkhalayam asasvatam, that some foolish people say, no, it doesn't matter, this material world is suffering, but I will stay here. But the scriptures say, but you can't stay here. This place is temporary, material. It's going to get destroyed. Yeah, right? You'll be kicked out. The same way Prabhupada said, if you got eviction, somebody renting, the landlord said, hey, this is an eviction, I want you out from here, and you don't make the arrangement. That's foolishness. So we have to know that we are here temporarily. From here, where do we go? Where we came from, why we came here, and where we're going to go. This is an intelligent question. Prabhupada wants people to ask these questions. And then I was walking down doing Sankirtan, and then this young couple were just laughing because bald hair, Sikha, and they were laughing the other side of the road, and they were looking and they was giggling and laughing, and then I don't know. I have this little bit of how you say a little bit of, what is a little bit of ego, you can say. I don't easily tolerate situations, things like that. So maybe it was my ego, maybe I was put in a situation that I had to do it. Then I went to the other side of the road. I asked them, so what's so funny? And then when I asked them what's so funny, and then they put their head down, they told me, what's so funny? And then I asked them, do you know the goal of human life? A simple question. This was Sri Prabhupada said. The goal of human life. Do you know? Have you read your own scripture? Have you read your own scripture? So I said, why you came here? What's your business here? And after when you leave this body, when you die, where do you go? Do you know? So they were quiet. They apologized. I didn't want an apology. I wanted to make them respect that devotees have dedicated their life so much that we like to laugh and make fun of them and this and that. But they are the most. They are the people who understood. They are the most intelligent. For the Vaishnava, doesn't mean they wear bed sheet or shave the head, eat khichdi. I mean, they are a bunch of idiots, you know. So Prabhupada wanted to create brahmanas, so he said there are so many doctors, lawyers. He said this movement, ISKCON, is meant to create brahmanas, intellectuals. He didn't say in academic intellectuals. He wants the devotee to understand the philosophy, at least understand that you're not this body. You can preach your spirit soul and how you can explain others. Sometimes it's hard to accept. People identify themselves with this body, but forgetting the real self with the soul. So Prabhupada wanted the basic understanding that all the Vaishnavas should understand, know this philosophy, that you're not this body, and you understand it, and you practice it. And then this way you can convince others. And that if you don't know, it'll be difficult to convince somebody. Till now, some devotees have so much of difficulty to convince somebody, you're not this body, you're spirit soul. Srila Prabhupada answered more question how the soul originally got entangled in the cycle of birth and death. And on meditation, and it is a real goal. One of the audience thought that the goal of meditation was to merge into God's existence. But Prabhupada explained that there must be ananda, bliss. You cannot merge. You simply imagine. Merging means you merge in the spiritual atmosphere, but without ananda, you cannot stay there. Therefore, you have to come back again to this material world. Suppose you are advocates, and you are given some place without any practice. How long will you remain there? If I say, please remain there happily without any practice, how long you will remain? We want some activities that is our nature for ananda. But here we are trying to get the ananda, but that is temporary. That is not satisfying us. Therefore, being disgusted, we want to stop it and merge. But that is also temporary. Unless you go back to home, back to Godhead, there is no complete life. Therefore, Krishna comes and shows by his spiritual activities. He is playing with the boys, he is dancing with the girls, he is killing the demons. This is Ananda, Sachit Ananda Vigraha. They are all spiritual. You have read our Krishna book? Yes. There is everything. So far as possible, we are trying to give people the real knowledge from the Shastra. Now it is up to them to accept or take advantage of it, unquote, from Srila Prabhupada. One of the members uh, paid Prabhupada a genuine compliment. You are doing the greatest service to the humanity throughout the world. Prabhupada accepted his praise with humility and little irony. And Prabhupada's quote from Prabhupada said, "At least I am trying, but it is very difficult. We have to spoil hundreds of gallons of blood before one comes to the point. It is very simple thing. Only our leaders of the society, they are sleeping. The leaders of the society, they are sleeping. They are misguided themselves and misguiding others. That is a difficulty." Just as Prabhupada was, unquote, just like Prabhupada was about to return to the temple, another gentleman joined them. "Swamiji, here is another advocate." You look like an advocate walk with Srila Prabhupada. One of the life members too said, Prabhupada smiled, "Now be advocate of Krishna." Srila Prabhupada, "At least we are trying," he said. Prabhupada made a point I want to talk is Prabhupada said we spend gallons and gallons of blood to make a devotee, right? Make a person to come to Krishna consciousness, to accept it, Krishna consciousness. So I have taken, we have to understand this, how we interact with our colleagues. So when we are association of devotees, we have to be very sensitive and very careful about how we deal with each other. So sometimes we tend to correct others, but forgetting that correcting others is a duty of a spiritual master, not us. So first we become guru, if we're not initiating guru, become a good shiksha guru. And then maybe you can take that the duty of correcting others. Vacha vegam manasakoda vegam jiva vegam tarapasta vegam itan vegadio vesahita dira sarvam apima pitivim sasishyat. Forget that last line. So if one can control the tongue, vacha vegam manasa vegam jiva tongue. Udharupasta vegam. They said one control the tongue, mind, words and genital. If one can control those senses, he is fit to become a guru. So if we think we are not, we don't have these senses in check, we are not in a position to correct others. You know how you know that you're doing a good job when you correct others? That devotee can start dancing and he's ecstatic. When the devotee becomes ecstatic and is jumping, is smiling, then you did a good job. But if the devotee is get angry, upset, frustrated, and more confused, and then you know you really didn't handle it well, and you should stop doing it until you master that art to how to deal with the devotee like that. And so if you're living in a mansion made of glass, don't throw stone at others, right? So because the stone may bounce, right? It may bounce and shatter your own your dream house, your bubble, your ego, and all of that. And we don't want that. Yeah. So everyone laughed. Everyone laughed together. Laugh now? Okay. Everyone laughed when Prabhupada said, you all become the advocate of Krishna. Prabhupada added seriously, yes, Janma Sarataka Kankara Paro Upakara, the greatest service to humanity. Right? Make them Vaishnava devotees. And you want to become a Vaishnava devotee, what happened? Prabhupada said, let everybody go on speculating, concocting, let them do all this, the bogus, whatever. This shouldn't bother you. Prabhupada said, we dance, chant, and then we eat our way back to Godhead. We become happy. Ananda, Prabhupada made a point earlier. The whole thing is Ananda. We're looking for bliss, for happiness. And how can you be happy? Like the hen want to be happy, then take the food and start putting on her face, take the food and smearing all over the body or playing with the food, and then how are we going to be nourished? So the hen is meant to feed the mouth, feed the body. This way the body is satisfied, you get strength. And if we want to be independent, and you say, no, the hen go on strike, you say, I'm not going to feed the mouth. And then say, you know what, what happened? If the parts, they want to serve the whole, then it's a problem. The sparks of the fire want to be independent. The sparks just die, but spark to be safe, to keep on burning, stays in the fire. So Prabhupada, we continue reading. Harikesh Maharaj went over the day mail with Srila Prabhupada in the mid-morning. There was a letter from Tusta Krishna Swami. He is currently visiting Australia with two other men, where they have established a regular feast program in 3 different towns. Along a part, the eastern seaboard called the Gold Coast. A well-wisher has offered them land for constructing a meeting hall. Tusa Krishna and his companions, colleagues, are living in a tent on the man's land. He will return to his farm in New Zealand, but the others will remain and eventually establish a farm there. He also described how the New Zealand devotees have completed building a kirtan hall and a brahmachari quarters, and they are awaiting local council approval for a plan to construct a temple, a school, 10 houses, and 10 guest huts. Since it is now spring, they are planning crops and hope to grow all their own grains. They have already planted 300 fruit and nut trees. Prabhupada was pleased to hear about the development of their farm, and he advised Tusta Krishna to visit both our New Zealand, our New Vrindavan and Port Royal farm. He replied, "It is my ambition that all devotees may remain self-independent by producing vegetables, grains, milk, fruits, flowers, and by weaving their own cloth in handlooms. This simple life is very nice. Simple wage life saves time for another engagement like chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra." Generally, quotes from Prabhupada, generally people are spoiling their lives for decorating the dead body and giving no attention at all to the spirit soul within. Our business is just the opposite, to give more time to the spiritual life and accept material necessities only as required. This makes life perfect. This is the Vedic way of life. We do not reject or accept anything until it is seen in the light. It is seen in the light of our Krishna consciousness movement. Anything favorable for Krishna consciousness, we accept, and anything unfavorable we reject. Anukuliyana Krishnanus Shinanam Bhaktir Uchyate. Prabhupada quoted this verse. Prabhupada said, Anukulyasa Sankalpa. It's a different verse. Anukulyasa Sankalpa Pratikulyam Viryar Janam. Accept everything favorable and reject everything unfavorable. Giving classes and holding feasts in our preaching, we should hold Sankirtana as much as possible and distribute prasadam. Gradually, when their heart is softened, then we will talk we will talk of philosophy, not in the beginning. That's a good one. To give them prasad, give them prasad first. But we got a problem. Here we take prasad and we disappear. So that's how we keep prasad to the last. Sorry, Prabhupada. Prabhupada said time circumstances in place. Okay. Prabhupada mentioned a few places here. Port Royal, New Vrindavan, New Zealand, and Australia, Gold Coast, new temples. We are fortunate enough to be in Gold Coast. It's a beautiful place there. And then, I think Prabhu been there. Sura Prabhu, you've been in Gold Coast, the Giri Govardhan, Radha Govardhan Dhari in Gold Coast. Raskili, Murvalamba, what's the place? It was in Murvalamba. In Murvalamba, the hill, Radha Giri Govardhana Dhari. The deity is there. It's beautiful. I don't know if I'm not mistaken, it's about, about 800 something acres today. It's massive. It's a big land where it's a beautiful temple. And there are a lot of, Rasikili, what do you call those people that we have? Those came for prasad and do some service? The woofers. So there's a program there. The group of the woofers, the people come from a different part of the world, and then ISKCON gets some fund to actually take care of them. And then they were given prasadam, and they do some farming. And I saw them coming very dirty, and I was wondering what. But they were doing service, and they were doing some voluntary service, and they were from different part of the world. This from France. I met what's the devotee's name? Purusha Mahapurush or Purusha Prabhu. He invented. Imagine he came from that. He invented how to make gas, cooking gas, with cow dung. And I met him there. And then he came to Mauritius, and he actually, there's a farm there, Krishna Balaram Temple. He actually invented that, how to make gas. And I was the one with him, and we were doing that and making gas with cow dung. It's what a 2-ton pressure gas made. I've got a theory how to do it, but because I've seen him doing it, and very, very brilliant. So we were getting in that place in Gold Coast, Bulwalamba, and there were so many people come from different part of the world, and you speak to them. They are so intelligent, so brilliant. Some of them. They come well educated, and sometimes they just leave home, and they want to live a life like that. So they're taking shelter there. And Srila Prabhupada, see how Prabhupada, it's mercy that this Prabhupada says the center is open to give association to people, to anyone. Anyone, there's no discrimination. So ISKCON center is open to give association and give them Krishna consciousness. And the best way Prabhupada here is to attract them with prasadam. It's 8:30. It's 8:30. So we maybe take some comments, so questions, and Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Wonderful
Krishna.
class. Prabhu, somebody asked me this question while I was on Sankirtan, that it says according to the Bhagavad Gita, that one who worship the demigods go to the planet of the demigods. One who worship the ancestors go to the planet of the ancestors. So he was wondering that whether he worship the ancestors, his father, his grandfather, will he go to the planet of the ancestors? What happens after that to the ancestors?
Oh, they worship. Okay, yanti deva vardadama priti yanti priti pada bhuti yanti bhutejaya yanti mam yajnopimam. So this is a verse you're referring at, that those who worship the demigod go to the demigod, ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship Lord Krishna, you go to the Lord, and they don't take birth again. So see, these places are the temporary arrangement. It's not a permanent arrangement. The temporary arrangement is just like here, Prabhupada also explained about some people want to go to, go to the Brahma Jyoti. Prabhupada also mentioned here that they go there, they say, no, we want to go, what do you say? The Nirakar form, the Nirakar form, the form of the Lord, they want to become one with the Lord, or otherwise they just want to be, to go worship the Lord as impersonal. And they get this, Prabhupada said this arrangement that's made after they leaving the body is temporary. It's temporary. You go to Brahma Jyoti, Prabhupada, Bhakti explains one time that they don't enter the spiritual world. I'll come to you, I'm just saying, Prabhupada said, they don't, because they don't enter the spiritual world, they go around it. Bhakti said it's just like a jar of jam, the jam is inside, but you got some that falls outside. So if you get a taste of the jam just leaking outside, it is temporary, it's a limited amount. And Bhakti also explained that you have a bank saving, you got a saving in a bank account, and then you squander the money. When you squander the money, you become a pauper again. So the same way, those who are looking for impersonal liberation, they come back again and take birth in the material world again. And then Bhakti was saying, when you're coming back, there's no guarantee you'll take a human form of life. So why take a chance like that? You see, when you come, he said, you come down with your head down, not your legs down, but your head down. See, when you fall on your leg. There's a chance you will survive. I mean, Maharaj explained, you fall upside down, that means a very critical position. We don't want to be in that position. When you come back, you may not get a chance of taking a human form of life. Prabhu, you said, if you go to Pitriloka, so this arrangement is temporary. That's why you do all this, these rituals for the ancestors, and then for them to leave that place, but eventually, if they don't get the, that says if they're not lucky enough to have people in as Vaishnava to do that for them, so they never benefited out of this. So temporarily, they eventually have to be punished. Because it's a temporary arrangement. It's like probably a transit, or whatever it is, a temporary arrangement, and then they are not enjoying there because they have no body. They're suffering. So because when you have no body, you suffer. You have this settled body, the Bhumi Apanolavayo come, earth, water, fire, ether is destroyed. All the elements went to the elements. Earth gone to the earth, fire gone to the only element is the settled body that stays, that's why people say, what, I got so and so crying, that every time we're crying. Believe me or not, it's like it's not a safe position to be, to have a settled body. I don't know how much we believe in that, but anyway, so we have to go to so much on this thing. We took a temple in Mauritius called White House, one of the first ISKCON temple, and that place was haunted by ghosts. We believe. And no one wanted to rent that place, but we rented the place. It was a massive White House. Then the Prabhupada disciples were there. They said, take Mirdanga and Kartal, let's do some kirtan and chase all the spirit out of this and blow conch. And we started blowing conch. Mahatma Prabhu was there. There's Kaladas Prabhu was there. Asita Prabhu, the old Prabhupada disciple. Mahatma Das, Prabhupada disciple. He does a seminar online. So I served with him for some years. So we blow conch shell, we recite mantras, we went in all the room, and opened the cupboard even. It was funny. And he said, open all these cupboards, we want everything out here. So it was like that. I don't know, believe it or not, but it's like, we don't think too much of that, but purification is very important, that mantras, they want to chant. So, okay, this point is saying, Prabhupada, this arrangement is temporary. By doesn't mean the person was not a devotee, reached there, and then we offer offering, and then say, because we are devotee, we do offering, and you will going back to Krishna there or something like that. After many, many years of enjoyment, Bhagavad Gita says, after many, many years of enjoyment of pious living entities, the unsuccessful yogi, they take birth into family of transcendentalists, and all of things, they come back. You didn't finish your spiritual life if you left your body, and then you get a chance, Bhagavad Gita says, you come back and take birth into family of brahmanas, aristocrats, all intellectuals and whatever, and you get a chance to continue from where you left off. So you give them the chance, you give them the chance to come back. If your parents or somebody didn't become devotee and they passed away, you are struggling yourself to really, get rid of this material life. So if we are not qualified enough, we won't be able to free others. So first we save ourselves. And Harishanan is saying that first we save ourselves, become good devotees, do everything, become pakka devotees, and do it. And you don't have to even say, think. You think, did I free my ancestor? Did I free my parents? You not even think about it. Just be sincere, honest, do follow principles and carry on. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. Krishna promised that. Give up all so-called and surrender to me, and then I'll take care of the rest. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. All right, so we stopped. Okay. All right, so we stopped here with Prabhupada. Prabhupada speaking about Gokul farm in Western Canada. So whoever this paragraph there, Pusta Krishna Swami is speaking, right? All right, about the letter. So whoever next time they can continue there. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.